So just want to know if you guys subscribe to the saying, happy wife, happy life.
I used to.
Used to. Can you go a little bit deeper with that? But why?
Absolutely.
Used to.
So when I
With a smile.
first got married,
With a smile in his face.
No, but when I first got married, that's kind of what I would preach. Right? I was
Yeah.
like, oh, happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many years into our marriage, we've been married for 6 years now, that I realized I am being held emotionally hostage,
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, I'm
What
being
does that
held
mean? What does that mean, emotionally hostage?
emotionally hostage. So like I was tiptoeing around whatever my wife wanted, right?
Yeah.
Even though if it went against whatever I wanted,
Yep.
right? Or sometimes what I needed,
Yep.
right? And so eventually I came to the realization because we got into an argument, and she was coming from a place of I deserve
Yep.
versus more humble or appreciative or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I like something snapped in me, and I was like, you know what?
Deserve.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I really don't. I
Yeah.
can walk out right now.
Exactly.
And I'll leave you high and dry with these kids. No,
3 of them.
all
You said
three
that?
of them. No, that's what I said. Yeah. No, I did.
You said that?
I said that. Yeah.
Man.
We were in couples therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So open floor.
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
we were
oh,
we were in
okay.
couples therapy.
And then
Share
after he
your
says it, he's
feelings.
like,
Yeah. No,
But I
no.
didn't really mean
I
it.
feel
No. But
That's
I was,
not really good.
what I was
That's
saying is not that I wanted to, right?
got you.
Obviously, I don't want to abandon my family. I love
Exactly.
my family. Don't want to abandon my kids. I don't want that type of possibility of a negative future for them, because we all know statistically what happens when father leaves home.
Yeah.
right, for
So
sure.
having said that, we were talking to like a therapist, like you said, open floor. But we like I said, we got into the heat of this discussion that was led by the therapist, and I came to the realization I don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
Like if I was a bum, if I was a deadbeat, whatever, I could just leave.
Yeah.
I could not try to appease to you at all, right?
Exactly.
I could be an asshole and just do whatever I wanted,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And not take your stuff into account. But because I'm trying to be a good husband, because I'm trying to live a godly life, because I'm trying to follow God's commandments and structure for our marriage, that's why I honor you. That's why I give you this position. That's why I let you influence me. That's why, what have you? You know what
Yeah,
I'm trying to say?
absolutely.
So that's when I realized, okay, it's not happy wife, happy life anymore.
Yeah.
Now we really have to talk about what it is that we want to do, not
Yeah.
just you.
And I like the fact that you said emotionally hostage,
Yeah.
right? Because I think that at times we get so caught up with trying to keep our spouse happy, right? That the spouse really forgets about this is a human being as well. I have feelings.
Yeah.
I'm not just here to make sure that you're feeling good. What about me?
Yeah.
I go through depressive modes and all that other craziness as well. You never ask me how I'm doing, type deal. So the fact that you were able to recognize I am being held emotionally hostage in this. I'm not allowed to feel any kind of way outside of happy, because hey, I should be happy that I'm taking care of my family.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Not always the case.
Yeah.
That I think that men at times we have it hard in that instance, right, where you're not allowed to really experience any kind of other emotions. You just have to have this stern face and be able to just trudge on,
Yeah.
even if you just got crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And you always have to be 100%.
Yeah.
Like
You gotta
sometimes
be on. You always gotta be on.
you always got to be on. You always got to be on 100%. And sometimes I tell my wife, I got about 70 if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Like I'm not in my, and sometimes she goes with it, and sometimes we get into an argument,
Suck it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Or what did it say? Be a man.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, man.
Woo-saw.
See, so I heard a interesting conversation the other day when I was riding with one of my buddies in Atlanta. He put on this thing that was supposed to be like feminism and anti-feminism. And this was all women having this conversation, mind you. And they were saying, what is the definition of a woman?
Well, first of all, before you get there, I'm imagining you, you're a big dude, you know what I'm saying? You and your homie, like, in the car in Atlanta,
Yeah.
like, bumping that music. Hey, what you want to listen to? Oh, I got You gonna like this, bro. Feminism.
Exactly.
I like.
Exactly. That's exactly how it happened. Yeah. So I'm sitting there listening to music, and then out of nowhere, it cuts over to a podcast or something like that. I was like, what the hell is this?
Wait, stay here. Yeah. Don't skip it. Don't
Exactly.
skip it.
I like this. Just let it happen. But the conversation was actually interesting, man, because they went into, well, the newer generation saying, well, this is all related to how someone feels. If they feel as though, they have the maternal instinct and, they're willing to take care of things and such, all going into, the things that a woman is expected to do type deal. But they don't want to prescribe to the idea of, the old school mentality where you work, well, maybe not even work. You just clean, cook, and take care of kids. But they're feeding into the same mentality by saying, hey, you have that maternal instinct. No matter if you're a transgender or otherwise, you just have that little part to you, and that's what makes you a woman. So what is it that makes you a man?
Well, that makes that thought process to me makes no sense.
Exactly.
Because anyone could be nurturing. It's not about being motherly, right? Fathers father and they're nurturing in a different way. I mean, if you look at the way that kids come to their parents, right? Usually children, especially younger children, will run to the mom when they need a hug, when they need embrace, when they need motherly nurture, right? Quote unquote.
Yep.
But then they'll run to dad when they want to have a fatherly nurture, when they want to have fun, when they want to get thrown around, when they want to run around and get aggressive, you know what I mean? When they want, daddy, make us something, or daddy, come play with us, daddy, because that is the way that children seek nurturing from both sexes, right? Because there's only two. And so... and so there's male and female, and there's two ways that we go about nurturing things, and there is some crossing there. It's not just men are this way when they're being nurturing and women are this way when it's really how you were brought up. It's really how it comes out of you. You know what I mean? Some people it might come more natural. Some people have to read a book or take some coaching, whatever, you know what I mean? But it's just nurturing.
Exactly.
People have nurturing, personalities,
Exactly.
they have different sides to them, different faces,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that if you're nurturing, you're being motherly and now you're a woman.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, you're showing a lot of feminine traits right now. Tough
And then,
enough.
oh my God, am I?
Oh my God.
Am I?
I'm lactating.
Don't say it. What does this mean?
Well, I'm a woman now.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Telling you, man.
But it's funny, we laugh about it now, right? But this is real stuff that like dudes that don't know any better are struggling with.
Yeah, man.
Because one, you weren't always taught. Like we've said it on past episodes, and it's such a recurring theme of every single subject and episode that we go into. We aren't always taught how to be a king, a lover, a warrior, and a friend. The media makes it really easy for us to be warriors because that's what the movies are about.
And they only show one side. They only show the aggression.
Exactly.
Yes.
They don't show the...
You don't see Rambo crying in the back after he puts down those bodies.
Exactly.
After he's tallying all the bodies, you don't think he's like, oh my God, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Today
I
was
almost died.
Yeah.
I just had a really long day today. I just need a couple minutes to myself.
Can you make me some chamomile tea?
Put some honey in that.
Yeah.
Just give me a couple minutes. I'll be back when I'm ready.
Exactly.
I just need 5 minutes.
Man, telling you.
That's the reality, though. Like when do you switch from warrior to lover? Right, and then it was a perfect joke. Like, I remember we were talking about it in the first episode. You come home warrior, but your wife needs lover, and then Brian, sometimes she needs warrior too. But hey, that's cool. That is right. Like we loved, and that's a great example. Right? We love to operate in black and white. We like to have clarity, and we love to put things in boxes and put labels on things. All a label really does, it summarizes what that thing is in our minds so we can compartmentalize it properly with everything else. Because if it's like for lack of a better term, shit show or clutter in our mind, it's just messy.
Yep.
But if it's got a label, it's stacked next to here, I could put this in this area of my life, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And that's why we put a label on it. It's all just to make sense of it for ourselves. See, we do the same thing with God.
Yeah.
We try to say God is love. And it's like, oh, that's all he is.
Yep.
But he's also warrior and king.
Exactly.
He'll slap your ass.
Yeah.
If he has
Consuming
to,
fire.
yeah.
Exactly.
He is.
Exactly.
So like there's so many faces of this, and it's not either or, it's and.
Yeah.
Lover and king.
Yep.
Warrior and friend.
Yeah.
Not just one or the other.
Absolutely.
It's filthy.
Filthy.
Man.
I don't know why I like that sound. I gotta put that into our audio bit. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, let's go back to right. We've been talking about the warrior the last couple of weeks, and that's what the media is really pushing on us. You're a man. Go defend. Go to war. Protect us. But history shows, and this was like our great grandfathers, when they went to war and they came back, when they went to Vietnam and came back, very hard for them to communicate. Very hard for them to communicate.
Right.
Now we're all like, hey, we're aware of PTSD and all these, post-traumatic stress disorders, the things that happen after these traumatic events. But there are consequences of that.
Yeah, they had to raise kids.
They had to raise kids.
And now those kids have issues.
Yeah.
And those kids think that the example of masculinity is just being quiet.
Exactly.
And being bold when you have to be bold.
Right.
But really
Exactly.
that comes off as just an explosion of aggression.
Yes.
So that's not being bold, right? That's one extreme of it, right? That we come back to what the media is showing for what
Yes.
manliness or masculinity is and
Yeah.
all that. It's just the aggressive side of it. But there's more to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
There's
Right.
also compassion. There's also having the foresight. That we talk about. A king has good foresight for the kingdom, right? So, being a king, being a man, you have to have good foresight. You have to be able to see, if I do this, this is going to be the consequences.
Yes.
If I say this is going to be the consequences,
Yeah.
right? X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah.
There's so many more. It's almost not about being a good man, just being a good person, right? And being able to have those qualities that could not only rub off on you or the next generation, but be an example for everyone else around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I guess at times I have an issue with over communicating because in the Marine Corps they said, hey, if you can't break this down to the second grade level, because we had some people that were coming in that barely were able to get into the Marine Corps, which is
God.
tough.
Yeah.
Is that where the whole eating crayons came from?
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. Glue and all that other craziness.
Red's my favorite color.
Exactly.
That's why you always have crayons in your pockets every time.
Yeah,
He's
just,
like-
just for a snack.
He's like,
Yeah.
don't eat blue. Don't. That's mine. That's mine.
Exactly. But if you can't break the topic down to like the second grade level and have someone understand it, then it's still too complex. Right. So I have an
so
issue
true.
with over communicating now where, somebody might understand what it is I'm talking about, but now I'm breaking it down even more than what I need to. And it's like, why is this dude, still going on about this? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just tell me that. But I think that the issue that men end up having is not knowing how to go about communicating, right?
Yes.
So there's different facets that we end up having to communicate in, man. So talking with my wife, right? If I'm talking to her like I'm talking to you guys right now, she will break down crying. It's like, what did I do?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Man, I'm telling you what it is that's on my mind, and somehow, some way, you misconstrue that he hates me. I just said that I loved you at the beginning.
Yes,
I prefaced this with
yes,
I love you.
yes.
And now you're breaking down crying. Like, how can I go about communicating this different to you?
It's called a sandwich, Brian. I know what that
Exactly.
is. Positive, negative, following up with a positive.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant like go tell her to make you a sandwich.
Exactly.
I thought that's where you were going with that.
I meant
Welcome to the Operation Redwood podcast, everybody, where we talk about godly things and not so godly things, and we're so sorry for that.
Man.
Hey, we're on this journey just like everybody else. All right, we're trying to do
That
better
is
as well.
Hilarious.
Absolutely,
That
man.
is hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
It's like, damn, Angelo, went with the sandwich route. I like to see my women barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
Man.
Oh God.
Yeah, man.
Literally crying.
I'm telling you, man. Nah, but that communication aspect for it is hard, man, because in communicating with other dudes, you can just say whatever's on your mind, right? And
Yeah.
You don't really have to worry about how
Like
that person
filtering
take it. Yeah, when you have a good relationship with someone, they're gonna understand that they didn't necessarily mean that to hurt me. What they said might have came across, kind of brash, but they didn't mean it to, break me down type deal. They're trying to actually build me up.
Yeah.
A lot of that also has to do with your self-esteem.
Exactly.
Like how you take things.
Exactly.
It has, because if you're not sure yourself,
Exactly.
then any little pebble breaks you down.
Exactly.
Instead of like someone, like I said, a little pebble, and you're just like, bink. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I think I know what they meant.
I'm never talking to them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cool. Then you turn on, you're like,
Exactly.
I'm gonna block you on all my social media. You're done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're dead to me.
Oh, damn, we live together.
Exactly.
Exactly, right?
Exactly. Man. So I found at times, man, I end up having to separate from my wife for a little bit, just mentally and physically. So if she's downstairs, I'll go upstairs. Like, how can I go about, communicating this in a fashion that she's not going to get mad at me and I don't eat for the next 3 days?
Talk about that sandwich again. Bring it back to the sandwich. Bring it back to the sandwich.
Exactly. So when that kind of stuff happens, man, I reach out to like my mom. Like, how can I go about talking to her about this? Like, and I'll tell her exactly the way that I would tell you guys. And my mom will be like, "Well, you're right." I was like, damn it. Yeah, I can't tell her that, the way that I'm telling you. I know what that's going to end up doing. It's like, yeah, just try to come across a little bit more soft. How? I've never had to do that before.
Yeah. That's a
How
challenge.
do you guys do it?
That's a challenge, man. That is a challenge. It was actually when you were talking about that, Carlene and I were watching a show. I don't remember what it was, but it was really cool. Fresh Prince, the remake. Have you
There's
seen
a
it?
remake?
Bel Air. Bel Air, man.
Bel Air.
Is it
Bel Air.
good, man? It
Bro,
is, actually.
I
Really?
love
It's actually really
that
good.
Dude, how do you
show.
replace Will Smith in that?
That's exactly
Dude.
what I was said, but Jabari Parker? Jabari
No.
Parker is a basketball player. Jabari something.
I forget his last name.
Yeah,
I
Jabari
know who you're
something.
talking about, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the new Will Smith. He actually spent some time and studied Will and hung out with Will, and he picks up his mannerisms really, really well.
Yeah.
That you don't forget about old Will Smith, but you appreciate the new one for what he brings and how close he tried
This
to
is
stick
Will
to the
Smith
original.
now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Will Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Exactly.
but he does. So it's a great show, right? I love, and it's darker.
Oh, really?
It's not
Yeah,
like
man.
it's not like
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
The
not-
Carlton
none of
Audrey,
that.
I love that
None of
dance. I
that.
don't care what anybody says.
None of that,
Yeah.
dude. It's a lot. I really do enjoy that show.
Yeah.
So there was a scene that when Uncle Phil, which is cool because Uncle Phil's jacked now. He's not like big fat.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
he's jacked.
Yeah,
He's
man.
a G, bro.
Is he
Yeah.
still rich?
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait,
Absolutely.
yeah, dude. You're gonna like the show. You're gonna like it.
Yeah.
So Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv were having a fight, and then they were laying in bed, and they just kind of like what we're talking about, like how do we get here? Kind of like going back and forth. Like I know you're busy, I'm busy. Like how do we get here? And it was just this really open and honest moment between them two, and there was a brief pause, and then Uncle Phil or Aunt Viv initiates something that they called
Sexual relations.
sexual. Found chicken, wow, wow. No, he goes. One of them says, "Radical honesty." He asked him. I want to say Uncle Phil said it. He asked Aunt Viv. It could be the other way around, but they basically pause and say, and asked the question, "Radical honesty," and then they both kind of pause and like, "Okay, let's hear it." And it was just a moment for them to just be straight up and say what's on their mind and not filter. And it's almost like what's about to come when it's radical honesty. Because the same exact thing happens with Carlene and I, where I'm so used to, and it's crazy. My dad actually just told me this the other day. Last week was Veterans Day weekend. Happy Veterans Day to our boy right here.
Appreciate you.
So
Thank
I
you
was,
for your service.
yeah, thank you
Thanks,
for your service, man.
Thank you.
And everybody else out there.
Absolutely.
We hung out with my dad for Veterans Day, and we were having dinner, and then he was just telling me, he's like, the reason I was so hard on you guys, and I forgot the context of the conversation, but he's like, the reason I was so hard on you guys is because I know the world is hard. I didn't want you and your brother, I didn't want you guys to grow up weak. And I'm like, oh,
Makes sense.
okay, yeah, I get that.
It's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just gives you a little background of how we grew up. Like, very strict.
Yep.
Keep things clean. Like, my dad was in the military, right? So we, you know, that's how we essentially grew up, with that type of structure. So the way I present and the way I speak is a little bit more direct when it comes to, like, hey, we're going to have a serious conversation. Let's get into it.
Exactly.
And I sometimes I don't catch myself, and I just say it
Yep.
without,
Word vomit.
yeah, exactly, without taking into consideration how that other person is going to perceive and receive it.
Yep.
And, you know, as we all know, can't do that with our wives, because her upbringing may not be the same with mine. I might just be saying it straight up with zero emotion. This is how it's coming out.
Exactly.
And she's going to be like,
It's not to
"Oh,
hurt you.
Yeah.
It's
not
right.
to-
It's a lot of emotion. That
Exactly.
sounds like
You asshole.
you coming after me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, shots fired.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that whole idea of radical honesty is something that Carlene and I have worked on, and we, you know, it was really cool because we saw that episode together, and we kind of just look at each other. I'm like taking notes, like, radical honesty.
I can't wait to use this one.
Season 2, episode
Piss me off
5.
again.
Yes,
Piss me off
yeah.
again. I got something to tell you.
Yeah,
I got something for
exactly.
you.
You waiting for some radical honesty?
You remember 2 years and 6 months ago.
exactly. But when we do incorporate that into our conversations and into our marriage, we feel both just more free. Like, there's times where, with just radical honesty, and I don't know if it's just I'm lacking self-control, but I just when I cuss, I feel like it makes more, like, there's more emphasis into what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
I'm not just mad.
that
I'm
inflection.
mad. Yeah, it's a little
Exactly.
bit. I feel like it adds a sauce.
Yeah.
I can't just say, "Oh, I'm angry."
Yeah.
I gotta be effing angry because
Exactly.
I'm like, that's how angry I am.
Exactly.
I'm not just angry at this level. I'm really effing angry. You
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
I know it's probably not healthy to keep dropping f bombs and stuff like that, but we're working on it. But my point is, we give each other this space to speak freely and openly. Also ready to receive. Like, when radical honesty, you got to be like, yeah. So she's gonna probably say some stuff that it's probably gonna hurt me. But hey, we both gave each other the green light.
So one thing about that is that I feel that you have to be extremely. You have to come from a place that's like, you're already upset, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're angry, you're upset.
Yeah.
But you have to, like, radical honesty is important, yes, especially in a moment like that, because you really have some things you have to say, and you don't want to tiptoe around it. You don't want to walk on eggshells. You just got to get it out. You got to get off your chest,
Exactly.
right? For your own internal health and for the health of the relationship, right? So there's no resentment. I understand all that, but you have to. You can't be. How do I explain this? You have to say it truthfully,
Yep.
right? But not just your truth, the actual truth,
Exactly.
right? You can't just say something out of anger, right, and then hurt the other person. You have to say something. Yes, you're upset, but say the truth. You know, like, you did X, that's why I did Z,
Yep.
right? Not just you did X, and because of that, you're a this and that, right? Like, you start going off radical, like
Yeah.
that. There's two different versions of radical honesty. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you have to say the truth, but it's because you're trying. This is for the improvement of our relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
can't go in there guns blazing.
Exactly.
And I have the green lights to light
Yep.
you up, right?
Exactly. It's like, I can't wait.
How many
Yeah.
extra mags did you bring?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Telling you, man.
So,
No, that's legit.
Yeah.
because
Man.
it's really, that's a fine line. You know,
It is.
I think
It
it's
is.
a fine line.
But I think what makes it work is like, we're trying to figure out the truth together, but if we keep putting a filter on it because I'm afraid to tell you how I'm really feeling, that filters something out.
Yeah.
And that what's left out is going to be in here still.
No, yeah,
Exactly.
no,
So
I agree. I completely agree. You got to get
if
it
that,
out.
like, you get it out, even if it's not clean, and it's gonna be messy, right?
Exactly.
Right.
But it's almost like this idea of like, let's dive deep into that with each other and figure it out. Again, it's not for everyone right off the bat. You got to kind of tiptoe into it.
Yep.
But when you can get to the level where like, okay, I feel like it just helps solve the problem better. Because it's like it also gets some emotion out too when you're pissed and you just say it. Like you're like, okay,
I feel better now.
you do, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Even though like, yeah, we're gonna
The other
hurt some
person,
feelings.
yeah, the other person's
It's
like,
like,
what the hell?
yeah,
Why
right,
am I
right,
just, the punching bag right
Yeah,
now?
well, you get a turn too.
Exactly.
Goes both ways, which is
Let's go,
extremely important.
bring it on,
Yeah.
bring it on.
Yeah. But I think that's actually very healthy, right? To be able to have those moments where you can have that intense fellowship, really.
Yeah.
And express what it is you might be, dissatisfied with in a relationship, because that's the only way that it's going to go about getting better.
Yeah,
Right. So,
Yeah, you gotta talk about it.
yeah, man.
you have to.
Yeah,
You
man.
have to.
Absolutely.
And as a man, as a leader, as a king, you have to initiate these conversations.
Absolutely.
You cannot wait,
Yeah.
because the more you wait, the longer that thing's going to be drug out, and you don't even know if your wife's thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
So you're thinking and hoping that this conversation happens.
Or if the problem just goes away.
Or
Exactly.
yeah,
right.
you're hoping the problem
Yeah.
just
Right.
just will go
See.
away.
And
Exactly.
that's part of being a king.
Yeah, man.
Taking initiative.
And
See-
go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
All right, so I was going to say a lot of before we even get to marriage, for all the single gentlemen out there, the dating, yeah, it's great, it's cute, you're getting to know each other and you're creating some memories. That's fine. But really, dating is to have the hard conversations, right?
Yep.
Like, there's a phase where you're cute, all right.
Yep.
Let's
Yeah.
talk, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
You in the you cute phase.
Yeah, you're in the UQ phase. So then you start getting to know each other. It's like, okay, I like you at surface level.
You're not
All
that
right,
cute.
Surface level.
Let's get a little deeper, right?
Absolutely.
And then now you're a little bit deeper in the waters, and now you have this level of trust. When you're at this level of trust, you're like, okay, now it's time to have the hard conversations, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what do you like when you're angry? What are your finances like? What? And I think we've talked about this before.
We've touched on
The
it. yeah.
dating is when you're supposed to get to know your partner, right?
Like
You're-
pre-marriage.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're dating with the intent for life, for marriage, right? To grow a family, grow a kingdom together. Like this is the time to get to know that person. Not once you're married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you're married, that's supposed to be it. Like you guys are both committed to each other for life. You've made a covenant under God
Yeah.
to say that you guys will stay together until death do we part.
Absolutely.
Right? And you guys are now have to fix your stuff
Right.
behind closed doors,
Right,
uplift
right,
each other
right.
in public, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't do. That's another thing. Like a lot of people love to bring their partner, their spouse down in public. And then that's a bad place to be.
Give us some
Exactly.
good examples of that, though. Like, how do you uplift your partner in public? Like, you see how fine she is.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody, you know what I mean? Like, what's,
That's
could
an
be one,
example. Yeah, that could be
you
one,
know,
but also talking well about your spouse. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was having a conversation with my friend Jose, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop. Like how sometimes we just bicker about our spouses and stuff. My spouse and I this and that. My spouse does this. My spouse does that. I'm gonna make a conscious effort not to stop that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that I do it with everyone, right? But like I do it with people that I trust and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop that, right? Because this is my marriage. This is nobody else's marriage.
Yeah.
If I need advice, that's one thing, right?
Right,
But
right.
I'm not just going to, I kind of like, and I'm not.
hate her.
Yeah, we're not going to do that, right?
Well, good morning to you too, Alfredo.
Yeah, right. So uplifting her, right? So it's the opposite of that, right? Oh, Kata does that. That's amazing. I really appreciate the way that she does X, Y, Z in the morning, or
Yeah.
like when she comes home, she always brings me something. If she's always worried about if I ate, she plans these amazing vacations for us. She
Yep.
X whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
Like she
I love that.
makes sure that I'm comfortable. She makes sure that I'm happy. She whatever, right?
I love that. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what you do, right?
Exactly. So you praise in public, ridicule in private.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say criticize or
Yeah.
whatever, maybe not ridicule, but yeah, I understand what you're trying
Yeah,
to say. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, like you don't you launder your dirty panties at home,
Yeah.
not in public, right?
Exactly.
So that's personal business. That's backdoor business. That's
Exactly. No, that's legit. Let's see. So yeah, man. I guess part of the issue that I had, because if you don't have that example of like what a good marriage actually looks like, now you're going in there and you're trying to form that idea of what that looks like on your own, right? So my mom, she's been married twice, right? And my first stepdad, which I have 3 younger siblings from, extremely cool, right? Whatever happened, they got separated. Now she's married again. She's been married for the past 9 years. So looking at both those marriages, there's pieces that you can take away from it, but then you try to piece those things together. Like, okay, this is actually what a good marriage looks like, And going through the dating phases, nobody actually tells you what dating is supposed to look like, right? So you don't actually ask all those difficult questions like, how are your finances? Yeah. You marry somebody and then you find out that they're like $30,000 or more in debt. It's like, oh, I thought that I was actually eating the gym. This person is, a little dirty, that they need to be polished a little bit, But you don't take the time out to ask those kind of questions prior. And then as you're going through your marriage and whatnot, you're just starting to uncover all these, unhealthy things. Like, oh, I hate it when, she puts her feet on me. I actually do. I cannot stand feet. I don't know.
I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
Exactly.
Outside the bedroom.
Yeah, But man, that's when you start uncovering all those unhealthy things, because in the honeymoon phase, when you're dating and then really just in that early marriage, status, nothing is going wrong at that point.
Right.
If you're
it's
having
summertime.
Exactly.
It's summer.
Even if you have a disagreement, like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll work through it. And then like as time starts going on, it's like, no, that's not okay. We're going to talk about this right now.
Right.
And then the anger starts to flare and such. You're like, you know what? I will leave right now. I do not need this. And it's like, okay. And it's like, oh, where am I going to go if I leave? You feel like that little kid with the backpack that was like, I'm running away.
Babe, I need the keys to the car.
Exactly. 20 minutes later, you're back.
I got hungry.
Is the iPad still in the car?
Exactly. Yeah. But, when is the appropriate time to actually go about asking those difficult questions? Because, a lot of people say you don't ask about kids and whatnot on a first date. That is kind of awkward, I will say.
Yeah, you don't do it on a first date.
If you've been dating for a month, 2 months, now time is actually lapsing.
Yeah.
So how much time are you allowing to lapse before you start having those difficult conversations? Like, how are you with your money? Do you want kids in the future? Where do you want to live? And such. Do you have a good relationship with your dad? If
That's a good one. Good relationship with your parents.
Yeah,
that's a huge one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when do you start actually having those kinds of conversations? Because if you don't have them like early enough, and then now you've invested a year, 2 years with just dating, and then you find out like, oh, this person
This is not the one. Oh,
exactly.
Man. That's
So
a lot.
Yeah. So when exactly do you go about having those kind of conversations? Because a lot of time is going to lapse, and then you don't want 5 years to elapse if you date that long. And now you find out like this person is not my person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a rule, right? Before we answer that question,
Nice.
Okay.
you don't ask anyone to marry you until after you've been dating for a year.
Very well.
That's because after a year, I've noticed that a lot of their mask will fall off. And I think we've had this conversation. After about a year, people get tired of wearing the mask.
Exactly.
And you start to see the mask starts to crack, and you start seeing a little bit of their true face. And you see that after a year, you start to be put in enough scenarios together, like the way they treat the waiter. The hairdresser pissed them off. Someone cut them off in traffic. They dropped their coffee. How many F-bombs they drop? How do they treat the kids when they have to pick up their little brother or whatever? You go over for dinner. You feel tension between mom and dad, and the way they speak to each other. How they kick the dog, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you start to see after a year, you really start to see who this person is.
Exactly.
Right? And I've seen this pretty often, right, with people, and I say to answer your question is once you're ready, once you think you're ready, once you are, once you have officially considered this person to be potentially your spouse,
Okay.
So once you consider this person, okay, they could potentially be my spouse, that's when you start asking the hard questions.
Ooh.
But you
That's good.
don't even get to do that until after a year. Because I've met so many people, which some people, their marriage is successful, but most people, they're 3 months later, oh, she's the one, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they get all giddy. 6 months later, oh, yeah, she's the one, you know. And I'm just like, yo, stop. Like,
Yeah.
just give it another 9 months, give it another 6 months.
Yeah.
Just, let's just keep on. Do nothing, right? Do nothing. Just
Exactly.
keep dating, get to know her some more, give yourself some more time, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, so don't do anything until after a year. Right?
Yeah.
After once
good.
you start considering this person to be your potential spouse forever, right? If you're 20 years old and you got about an 80-year lifespan, that's 60 years, my guy.
Yeah.
All right, that you
You're
have
not wrong.
Yeah,
No, seriously.
yeah, it's 60 years that you have to be with this person. You got to smell their farts.
Yeah.
You have to know when they're mad, and you got to take a shit sandwich when they're mad.
Yeah.
All right. You have to know what they're happy. You got to know what their intentions are. Do they want kids? You know, what is as Christians, this is a very, you know, God says do not fornicate, right? No sex before marriage, right? But you have to know, which, by the way, you can always fix sex. All right, let's just say that real quick. If there's trust in the relationship and we can come from a point of let's enjoy ourselves more, you know, what have you, you can always fix sex, right? But first you have to fix the relationship. The relationship has to be right.
Okay,
So-
I was like, I thought we said there's only a man and a woman.
No, not sexes. Not
I'm
the sex
gonna
you're
have to
born
edit
with.
that part out.
Yeah, and we're out. Okay.
I was like, you can't. I was like, bro, you just said you can't.
Yeah. So, dang, now I lost my track.
I'm
of
sorry.
thought.
I was like, oh yeah.
You can always fix sex. Like sexual, where you're at sexually. You know what I mean? Like men, we're always on, right? We're always ready to go.
Exactly.
And some more than others.
Yep.
You know, and then you have sometimes you got like, you know, you're into whatever, right? So you gotta let these things be known, right? Do you have anything I should know about? You
Yep.
know, you into like whatever, right?
Yep.
And so I can't
I
even
was
think
like,
of
bro,
it.
he's about to drop something
Yeah, I
dirty.
can't
right
even
now.
think about it. Yeah.
Right there, like, is he gonna say something?
But you have to know these things.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
true. You
It's
have to
legit.
know where they're at sexually, man.
legit.
Yeah,
Because
that's real,
otherwise,
that's real.
you know, if they're into some creepy stuff, you'd be like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
No, that's a deal
Yeah,
breaker.
exactly.
You know? Or, you know, like whatever. But
Put this football helmet on.
Exactly.
yeah, whatever
I
it
actually
is.
have a maid outfit that I have to wear. So
Yeah. So you got to know these things. These are the hard
it's-
questions.
It's true. You're right. You have to have them, and you know, I think a year is a very good timeline.
yeah.
You know, it for me, it's probably just like that feeling, right, where you're like, this person might be the one, right? And that could happen. Like, I think a year is a very good timeline. I'm totally in agreement. I think I would lean a little bit more on like, hey, when am I really considering this person? Because if you think about it, like you said earlier, in your early 20s, and you look at the environment, MTV, all these shows, these dating shows are quick, it's fast. The questions that they're asking each other is like really low level
Yep.
nonsense. Like,
Yep.
it's not really made for long term. It's made for entertainment.
Yep.
And it's made to go for a quick relationship here, you know, flip around and date the other dude or the other girl, and it's like
Yep.
quick. And you see it's a TV show.
Yep.
But how many times do we get reality TV confused with reality? And I see that pattern now where because of these shows that are coming out, people are like, oh, this is what dating is supposed to be. I'm supposed to date you. Oh, there's something I don't like. Peace out. I'm going to go with somebody else. And that's like, that's like, you never even give yourself that chance to commit to one person and then eventually have these conversations.
Yeah.
You know, so I think environment as a whole, this next generation is going to have a harder time finding somebody because, or at least how they find them is going to be a lot more difficult because we're just like, everything's quick, everything is fast. So they're struggling to get to the point where like, do I trust this person enough to, do I see them as like my forever person? You know, and when you do get there, you don't even know yourself well enough to know what you really want.
Man.
Because you know right now in your 20s, I just want to be rich. I want to be set.
Yeah.
And I want to find someone I love and live in a great house.
I'm telling you. So, it's ironic that you were mentioning all that stuff because I just had that conversation with my little one yesterday, right?